Okay, hello, viewers. Welcome to another wonderful session. So I've posted a prompt engineering earlier video, and this one is a little bit advanced. So I'm going to talk more in terms of how good you can get the responses from the AI or from the chat GPT or from the copilot, and how you can improve the performance basically. So let's dive in quickly. So what we are going to cover is what the latest research and advancements, designing prompts that improve model performance, analyzing model performance, and then optimizing prompts for specific use cases, gaining hands-on experience. So for this one, I'm using mostly the copilot because that's kind of more advanced, right? And I really like it more than ChatGPT 3.5 or any other chat gpts. So Microsoft Copilot is something I like it. So I'm going to show you all the demos into this using that. And the latest research and advancements, like there are so much in chat gpt 4 or the gpt version 4, which is very advanced, and you can talk to the AI model similar to you talk to someone who's human. You can provide a lot of information to that. You can make that model to work what you want that to work. Uh, so so you know let's go in. Before I jump in into advanced topics, I just want to provide some little introduction about prompting. So prompting is nothing but it's a communication between the AI and human. The more clear communication is, the more clear response will be from the AI. So you can do instruction prompt, there are question prompts, there are some other ways, like you can set the context with the prompt. I've detailed about that in my earlier video, but let me just give you some brief introduction here. That instruction prompt is nothing but you just provide write an essay about something, or you just inform, like, can you create weekly plan for my diet. So these are something like you provide or ask an instruction directly, and you can proofread and correct the essay summary, make it very funny, ensure it follows required styles and targets and non-technical reader. So these are all some of the examples that I have put in. So return your output in a printable format. So you put all these information and you provide this instruction. So let's just do a quick demo to start with. So proofread and correct the essay summary. So I'm not going to do that now, but I'm just letting you know that you can do something like this. Create a story about robots who is trying to learn martial arts. Okay, make it very funny, and make the story, and have the story less than less than 1,000 characters. And then you can mention, like, you know it can just be non-technical, return the output. So return the output in newsreader format, something like that. So the moment you say that, it's going to create the story, and it's coming up with the robots martial arts. So it's coming up with the format that what you ask for, right? If you just ask in a without the format, then it will come in a different way. So it is definitely giving you some information. I just restricted with 1,000 characters, so it has in that's the constraint that I have put in here, right? And make it very funny. So that is another way to say the sentiment to this. I'm going to talk about all these sentiments formats in the later part of the video, but I'm going to touch upon this as well. But I'm just letting you know that you can provide some constraints and the tone of the thing that you want, and you can limit the constraint to be what kind of format it is. So this is an instruction format. And then the prompt includes context, input data, instructions, examples. Like you can provide some examples. This is what I'm expecting in a format. Like, if in English you say good morning, in Spanish the equivalent is this, then what you say for good evening, and you can just put a question mark, that it has the capability to come up with understanding of the examples and then provide you the information. So it's an iterative process. Prompting is definitely an iterative in the sense, you have to refine it again and again and again to get the expected output for you. So, what's chain of thought prompt? This is a technique that is helpful when you want something in, for example, you are doing you want to make the AI to uh, come up with some ideas, but you want this to be like a expected format. So I created a small example here. Create a new dessert recipe. Step 1, brainstorm and refine the concept. Step 2, consider the flavor combinations. Step 3, consider the structure contrasts. And consider the presentation that will make this dessert truly remarkable. Okay, so let's just copy paste this into our AI, and see how it's gonna react to this. Brainstorm, let's create a dessert that combines the richness chocolate with freshness and berries. It will be layered, all those. It is brainstorming by itself, and consider the chocolate, or it is doing all these steps, right? Consider the texture contrast. This biscuit is will so it is matching with what you are asking to do, right? So you have a chain of thoughts in the sense, this is the sequence of steps that you ask it to do, and then provide the specific steps will help to improve, to get the output pretty quickly. So that's the chain of thought. And then next you have augmentation techniques. Okay, so what's augmentation technique is, it's similar to the steps that you provide a lot of steps to it. The difference, for example, what's the difference between function and method? You provide all the Wikipedia details. You can give the information about the URL, and you can ask the ChatGPT to go through that and make an understanding about it and come up with a summary about it. Okay, so you provide the extra information or the source of the information, and the ChatGPT or the Copilot can understand from that information, and it augments the expected responses from that. So here, as an example, you are an AA assistant, you have to provide the list of meals available in a President hotel. So if you just go and say that, can you list me the list of food menu item from the hotel President. So my expectation is that it would say, I am an AI model. I don't know what are you talking about. That's what I'm expecting to say, but I don't know if it's gonna take it somewhere from the real President hotel. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it's taking it from somewhere. So I'm not gonna, encourage going further on this. But if you want to train the AI model, okay, so I'm going to paste this guy first. Okay, I'm pasting it. I'm saying that you are an AI assistant and you have to provide the list of meals available in President Hotel. First, decide whether the user is asking a specific question about the dish available. Step 2, if the user is asking about specific menu, identify whether the food items are present in the following list. So I'm going to provide this context initially to the AI assistant, so the AI assistant can probably start thinking that it is probably the one who is going to respond to it. Okay, so it is understanding this. Let's go and further on. Okay, can you tell me what are the menu available in President Hotel? I never tried it. Let's see how it's gonna react to it, but let's see. if it's gonna tell me again the same, um, okay, it's not gonna tell me what I have provided for the, but um, but in my opinion, still, you can make the AI model to behave like what you are asking to behave, because this is a copilot and it's already inbuilt with a different set of things. You can't make the copilot to act on your behalf, but you can create a lot of Python programs. Python codes are available, or you can connect to the APIs directly. Okay, so if you connect to the APIs of OpenAI, and if you ask the API to act what you want to be, that has the capability to work in such a way that you can augment uh, the conversation between the user and how the AI should be acting on it. So anyway, so the augmentation techniques are pretty useful in knowledge intensive scenarios and also the domain applications, and this is the one that is majorly used in a lot of many of the banks and many of the, so, the financial institutions, many of the airlines, a lot of travel portals, and many companies are actually making the AI um, uh, customer service using this technology. So this augmentation techniques are pretty handful and useful. Um, let's move on to the next one. So what's the difference between chain of thought and augmentation? So let's imagine that you are playing a game of connect the dots. You start at the dot number one and then move to two and then move to three and so on until you have connected all the dots and the picture emerges. So you connect all the dots and you see the picture, right? So this is similar to the chain of thought prompt engineering. It's sequence of ideas or steps that lead to form the beginning of a task to the end, just like the number guide you in connecting the dots to complete a picture. So the chain of thought is nothing but sequence of steps, you get the end result. Augmentation technique is, let's say you finished the connecting the dots, now you got the picture, but you want to make it more interesting, so you decide to add some more color, maybe draw a sun in the corner or add some grass at the bottom. This is like augmentation technique in prompt engineering. Okay, so it's like a way of adding more information or details to the original task to make it more complex or interesting, just like adding color or extra drawing makes your picture more exciting, right? So you add more complexities, or the complex algorithms into that. You feed algorithms into this AI, and that's called the augmentation technique. As I said, then only the AI model can act like someone, and it can provide the responses as per the expected results. Okay, so typically what happens is the AI can connect to the databases. Okay, so for example, you have flight information, departures, and the let's say assume that you are in Chicago airport, and you want to know what's the departure and what's the if there is any delays to it. So you need to make a call to someone, right? Now instead of making call, you can do the chat GPT and you can just chat with that. You can ask the question about, if what is there any delay for this flight number. So ChatGPT can connect to the database and it can come back and let you know that this is what it is. If the number of the flight is wrong, or if you say that I'm looking for the flight that's coming from Phoenix to Chicago, and what time the flight is coming, these are all some of the examples that the artificial intelligence is going to be handling for the customers. So the customer can ask any question to this and it can give back the response, and that's where the augmentations are going to be very useful. So just to give you more example to it, let's say the original task is to write a story about a cat. The chain of thought might be the cat wakes up, eats breakfast, plays with the ball of yarn, and then it takes a nap. The augmentation technique could be adding details like the cat is a superhero, the ball of yarn is a magical object, the cat dreams about saving the world while taking the nap. This makes the story more interesting and fun to read. So augmentation is like an adding more details, and the chain of thought is from the start to end how the AI should respond to a particular situation. Now let's move on to the prompt tuning. Okay, prompt tuning focuses on refining and optimizing existing prompt, tweak the prompt to improve the model's output, manual or automatic. So you can do a manual prompting or automatic prompting. Sometimes you can even ask the uh, ask Copilot or the ChatGPT themselves, to can you fine tune this prompt so that I get the required response. It can do that. So prompt variations, keyword modifications, adding context, all those things are prompt tuning. Okay, so define the objective. Start with initial prompts, generate the response. So when you start with the initial prompt and then you get back the responses and then evaluate the responses, update the prompts and iterate it, keep repeat, to get the desired result. These are all some of the tuning. So basically the prompt, you need the prompt engineering is nothing but you go and ask something, right? And then how you ask, how effectively you ask is all about the prompt tuning. Okay, for example, what are the benefits of exercise? So that's a prompt in detail. Now, what are the benefits of exercise in detail? Provide three basic physical benefits and three mental benefits. So you are constraining and providing some more relevant details that you want. And then, as I said, you can make the AI itself to create better tuned prompts. Something like you can put an information like two people are talking and one of the person is a Python programmer, another person is customer service representative. They both are talking to each other and they need to create a better prompt for their domain or the business. So that it can come up with some ideas for you to take a look at. And then expanding the text, you can even sometimes you can make for example an insurance claim. So the customer can come up with the insurance policy number and it can ask for the claim. The moment the initial notification that comes in, the AI itself can create the initial notification and it can send an email, to the email address that is registered, or that's something. Those are all the use cases that's possible through AI. And then summarizing text, you can provide a summary of you give a very big essay, and can you ask to summarize. It is possible. So these are all some of the tuning techniques that is possible. Now let's move on to the text to image generation process here. Okay, so you can give a text and Copilot is using the Wally, and it is creating the images. You can edit and retouch the existing images, also create variations of existing image, include 10 or more words, include the subject and multiple adjectives, include style keywords, in what way you want. So without a further delay, let me go and jump into some demos. So initially, let's start with a cat on Tesla car to Mars. Okay, let's put it this way. Create image, baba, a cat on the Tesla car to Mars. Let's see how it is coming back with. Okay, it's gonna create it. A cat on a Tesla car to Mars. Oh, look at that. So it created 4 different, it's all the Tesla's SpaceX. It automatically puts a SpaceX also along with that. Nice. Now I'm going to refine that, more optimized. Cat on a car, I'm sorry, a cat on a Tesla car to Mars, trending cinematographic art station. Okay, so let me just copy this so that it's easy for me rather than typing it. Let's see how it works. Create image. So I've refined it furthermore. I'm prompt tuning is what is all about this. So I'm putting it like, trending cinematographic art station. How does this different from this? Let's see. So all these cats are not wearing space suit. We can ask, so now you see the cinematographic view, it come up with some so the moment I say cinematographic, so it comes back with some. This is nice. This one looks very good. Anyway, so let's go to the next one. Create a realistic portrait of cat on a Tesla car to Mars, the style of blah 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 blah. Okay, so I'm putting it with more detail. So this is more optimized prompt, and let's see how this one is coming up with. You don't have to put create image because you don't have to. I'm just putting it because doll, I said Wally, I'm sorry, it was Dolly. Wally was a new movie, I think, from Apple. I mean the Pixar. There was an interesting story about Pixar's creation. If you guys get a chance, go through Stanford, search for Steve Jobs' speech in Stanford University. It has a lot of things for you to learn. Okay, so what is this guy is doing? Attention to detail. Anyway, so you can, it brings a lot more detailed images. So you can do the text to image generation, and that's, and also let me show you this. If you want, you like, if assume that you like this picture, okay, you can, there are so many options that is provided here. You can make it like, you can make it landscape. It can create it as a landscape picture. And then you can even go to designer, and you can, and it provides some more. You can go to the designer, like, you can go here, looks good, and then edit in designer. So this opens a Microsoft designer where you can go, you can add more medias, my medias, you can add more visuals, you can change the background. There are a lot more things that you can do with this. You can remove the background, you see, restore original, lot more things you can do with this. Changes, you can even change whatever you want to do it, blur the background, for example. So just wanted to tell you that, Microsoft Designer is also another pretty cool thing that if you want to change any major stuff. Okay, next, let's move on. Inferring sentiment and text transformation. So you can come up with the emotions and sentiments to the, you can bring with a lot more sentiments, like emotions, in the sense, how to say, you can make it very funny, you can make it very sad, you can make the text to be very strict, you can make this text to be official, like, you want to show that, what kind of mood you are in, and you want to bring that mood in the text. All those things are possible. And the text transformation is, you can ask, like, what is the sentiment of the following statement, and you can provide the statement. I'm so sorry, I'm very very bad, I'm really not doing well. This, if you have come to this level of hearing my voice, you are absolutely a great personality. I really thank you for listening to me so patiently. You are the lovely person I've ever seen in the world. Thank you so much. You can ask what's the sentiment to this. Okay, anyway, text transformation. What is text transformation? It can convert 80s English to business language. It can convert English to Spanish or any other languages. It can even convert your text to HTML or C#. It can give different emotions or tones according to prompt. It can detect the language. It can convert the Spanish to UK English or a US English. You can proofread, you can rephrase, you can autocorrect the spelling. It can do everything in a minutes of time. That's kind of text transformation that it has done. So far what you have done is, how to summarize and expanding the text to image generations. We have seen some demos on that. Inferring sentiment, which is, I have not done any demo for that, but I am gonna show you this. Let's take it very funny. I am you are a cricket coach and you are a strict coach. What will you say to someone who is coming very late to the practice? So this is the tone that I've set that AI to be like as a strict cricket coach. I would say being late is not acceptable. Punctuality is not just respecting the time of others. It's about respecting the game itself. If you want to improve, blah blah blah. If you want to do it's like very strict. Now let me say, can you be a funny coach? Let's see what it is gonna reply. A funny coach, I might say. You see, it's immediately fixed that. Late again, I was starting to think you would switch the sport and join the running late team. Wow, remember the early bird catches the worm. In our case, the cricket ball. So let me put it like, can you be a formal coach? You can change the tone. I mean, whenever you change someone's personality, the tone automatically changes. Okay, you get different set of responses. You see, can you be really a very mad coach? Let's see how this coach is gonna be. Extremely disappointed with your coach. This team and every team, blah 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 blah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've shown you now. I missed to do that, but inferring sentiment and the text transformation. Okay, so the text transformation is something that you can put it this way, right? Can you create a news story of a story of World War II in 5 sentences in US English and UK English. US and UK English are very similar with the minor differences in spelling and vocabulary. The story in both. So you can see the US English how it's gonna be, and the UK English is how it's gonna be. Okay. So anyway, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna wait for this, but I just wanted to show you that how it can transform and do stuff. So you see, the latency matters a lot. What's a latency? Okay. I mean, this topic is all about improving performance. So latency is nothing but the time it takes from the moment you say enter and you get back the response from the AI. Okay, so time it takes to process and response received. So the more and more you are clear with your instructions, the more and more you are crisp with your tokens. What tokens? What do you mean by tokens? So tokens is nothing but I love new learning, for example, with the exclamation mark that has 5 tokens. So I love is a second token, new is a third token, learning is a fourth token. So everything is token, and the number of more tokens you give it, the number of less response it's gonna be. The numbers in the sense the number of characters, or it can be the number of words, it can be the length of the request and the length of the responses, because the request it has to understand what you're talking about, so that takes some time. The more you confuse, they will take more time to understand. The clear you give, the clear information that you ask, it will take that much time. But it will take some time to understand what you're asking, and it has to bring back the response, and it has to go search somewhere, and it has to come back. So the more tokens lead to less performance, and more capable models required. Like, Copilot is very advanced. Okay, very advanced in the sense, it can create extraordinary pictures. I've just shown you that, right? Extraordinary images and extraordinary response to the what you're asking. Sometimes I've noticed the latency is very slow. Sometimes because of the because I'm using a free account, I don't know, but if you go with the Python programming to connect with the APIs, or you connect with, basically you don't need a Python, but you can go with any language, and you can connect to the APIs, it will be faster. You have to be OpenAI member. You log in and get the account, and you can be OpenAI member, and the API pages gives you a key. You use the key to connect, and the token it provides back as a authorization token, and then you can connect to the APIs, and the APIs has the magic to bring back the responses required. So reduce generator tokens, and then max tokens, n parameters, stream is equal to true. The stream is equal to true is nothing but what you have seen in the what you have seen like this, right? It's typically bringing back the responses, and immediately it is giving you. The streaming is nothing but, if you set the streaming equal to false in your program, you will have to wait for the entire text to be completed from the server, and it will spit out as just one response. But now you can see that it's actually typing whatever that is, because that's because it's streaming. It is immediately, as soon as it gets the responses, it is giving back to us. So that's all I have, and to give you the summary of whatever we have seen so far. To improve performance, you have to be clear in communication, and the more chain of thoughts, and the augmentation that you can make use of, augmentation technique, that will help to get the performances ready. In the upcoming videos, I can show you about how you can make use of Python, and we can start with what's a small course about Python first, and then we can go further from there, and make use of the Python to connect to the OpenAI, and get back the responses. How you can leverage those responses for your need, and how your database can be optimized with the AI technologies. We can see all those stuffs in my upcoming videos. I just started this. Please provide your support. I really appreciate. Till now, if you are listening to me, please go and treat yourself with a strong coffee, or wonderful dinner, or wonderful lunch, whatever, or wonderful breakfast. This is absolutely a great pleasure for me. Thank you so much.